Hey, y'all. It is What is going on today? It is Charisma Cares, your fellow nomad and nurse practitioner. And oh, goodness, I felt like I had something to say today. And y'all know when I have something to say, I'm just going to go ahead and say it because that's how we roll around here. So, if you are watching me, let's see, right now it is 3:30 in Africa. It's 8:30 a.m. at good morning. It's 8:30 a.m. in the US. And so today I kind of wanted to talk about this comment that I got on my Facebook. So I was talking about how my journey with immigration in Kenya, trying to get a student visa. And it was one lady, she's been following me. I don't know how long she's been following me. I assume she's been following me for a little while. At some point she was trying to become friends, and, my spirit just wasn't meshing. She's a very nice lady, but my spirit wasn't meshing. And I was talking about the difficulties that I was having. And as usual, since I didn't want to be friends with her and I just was cordial, she seems to always be mad at me now. Whenever I comment about anything, she always comments something negative. So, she comments and she says, these things happen in the US. And I'm like, no, I've never experienced this in the US as a person born and raised there. Not the things that I'm experiencing here, but whatever. I finally got it done. I'm just glad I got it done. And she says to me, well, you just bring trouble everywhere you go. And I was like, and she said, and I was like, man, that's an interesting comment. I said, well, let me sit on this for a little bit. Do I bring trouble everywhere I go? And I just started to think about the things that as a black woman, I've heard being told to other black women, or things that I've been told, like the whole, you're too much or you're a lot. I know a lot of women hear that a lot. Or, all black women are loud, and, just some of these different things that I hear. And, and she's a Kenyan woman. So, just for reference. And, my first thing was, well, you follow me and you friended me. Like I didn't reach out to you. Like I don't know you. So the same way you could follow and friend me, you could unfollow and friend me. Like I don't go on your page. I don't comment on anything. I say absolutely nothing about you or your life. So if, I'm trouble, or, whatever you may call it, why do you follow me? Like, to me that doesn't make any sense, right? Because if there's somebody that I don't like on social media, I would unfollow them. I wouldn't continue to watch their journey. So that comment was very interesting to me. And it kind of got me to thinking, some of you may know I am only the second American in my family. My mom's the first American. And my grandmother and my mom's side of the family are from Costa Rica and from Panama. And if you know anything about people from the islands, it's like they are loud and they say what they say. Whatever they got to say is going to come out. And that was my grandmother. She was loud, she would curse you out, and she would bless you, and she would take care of you all in the same breath. So, for all intent and purposes, she was a lot. She could be a lot. However, when shit went down or hit the fan, she was the person that you came to, because you knew that regardless, she was going to take care of you. You knew that she would open her door to you. You knew that she would feed you, clothe you, whatever needed to be done for you. because that's the person that she was. Now, that didn't mean that she wasn't going to curse you out and tell you about yourself at the same time. She was still going to do those things, but she was going to take care of you. And I find that I am very much like my grandmother. I'm going to tell you what needs to be said, but I'm still going to love you and take care of you and do that part. So when I'm thinking about this woman and this comment that she made, and I don't remember exactly how she worded it, and I've thought, I have had a lot of chaos in my life, right? But I've also thought, so have so many strong Black women. Um, Maya Angelou was raped many, many times as a child. She was a lot. People would say she was a lot, but she was one of the greatest out here. Um, Mary McLeod Bethune, some could say she was a lot. There's just so many great Black women out here that had to be a lot to get where they are. Because the thing is, and I'm not comparing myself to these women because these women are just amazing legends in history. But the thing is, I feel like to get to a level of excellence and to reach something extraordinary, you have to be out of the ordinary. You, I just went to this Tony Robbins conference, 4-day conference, 12 to 14 hours each. And Tony Robbins experienced a lot of, he was poor growing up. He's one of the richest men now, but he was absolutely dirt poor growing up. He said he had 4 different fathers. If you follow him, I'm sure you know the story. And the adversity that he experienced made him the person that he was. And the thing is, we don't get to places in life just sitting down and not doing anything about it. There are some people that are here to be in this life I'm fixing my Bluetooth, to be passive. They just live a passive life. There are some people that are here to be people pleasers, whether that fits your personality or not. No, whether that's something you want to be or not, that's completely up to you. However, hey there, Pamela. It's completely up to you. You can change who you are to a certain extent, but some people are just here to be those type of people. I am not here for that. I have never been on this earth for that. I have always been the person on this planet that is meant to speak up, to speak out, and to say what needs to be said. Now, the way I say it may not always be the nicest. I'm not even gonna lie. It may not always be the nicest. I am my grandmother's child, but what I say is going to make you stop and it's going to make you think. So this particular person was mad that I was speaking out about the truth of what had happened to me. And, I've noticed in her past comments, she had been mad when I speak the truth. But I don't just speak the truth about Kenya. In my experience, I don't just speak the truth about Rwanda or Mexico. I speak the truth about the United States as well. So it's very interesting that you want me to change my truth for this one country, but I don't change my truth for my own country. And, I find it interesting as Black women, we are always being labeled as Black American women. We're to this, we're to that, we're to whatever. I'm like, I had my daughter when I was 18. I should be a statistic. I should be living in the projects, not making any money, being broke, da 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 da. but I was too much for that. So guess what? I continued to push forward and do what needed to be done. I used that to motivate me. My daughter was who motivated me to say, you still going to college, which was never a question. I was in college at the time. But it motivated me to say, no, you will graduate in 4 years because you don't have time to waste. This baby girl is waiting on you. So you will do great things for this baby girl. And that is who I am. Was I too much then? Yes, I sure was too much. I was too much going to class up until the point that I was 6 months pregnant, sitting in there in human anatomy in class. I was too much. Then I get married. I have another child. Little did I know my child would be disabled and I would end up being a divorcee single mother. Was I too much then? Yes, I was too much. I was so much that I made it so that I got my master's degree in nursing while I had a daughter and a child with a disability. I'm sorry, you got to be a lot. you know, and I know some of you all can empathize with me because you've done the same things. You've done the impossible. You've done things where people have counted you out and said that you wouldn't be more because of this decision that you made, because of this quote unquote mistake that you made, because, but if you weren't too much, if you didn't have trouble, if you didn't have chaos in your life, you would have never been able to overcome those things, because chaos is what created you. Those things that we talk about from our childhood that were negative things, those things that should have broken us, there's women, I have clients that have experienced physical, mental and emotional abuse, that have experienced sexual assault, rapes, that have experienced growing up with parents that are alcoholics or drug addicts. Boo, you had to be a lot, because if you weren't, guess what? You're there are two different people that can come out of these situations. There's the people where the situation can destroy them. They then become an alcoholic. They then become a drug addict. They then become an abuser or become the person that's being abused. Or you're on the other side and that person overcomes. They make sure they never drink anything. They never do a drug. They make sure they never get with someone that abuses. Those men make sure they never hit a woman. These are the things that we are overcoming. And to overcome these, you have to be a lot. You hear me? You have to be a lot in your own right, because not being a lot, being the standard, not even subpar, being the standard, you will not make it. Not as a Black woman, and hell, not as a Black man. You have to be a lot. You have to be a step up. So, it was quite it was quite interesting to me. And then I think about it, when I've worked in the hospital and when I had to advocate for patients, because I wanted to make sure they didn't die. I wanted to make sure they lived. I had to advocate for people. Um, I've had to do that for so many years. And that's not just in the hospital, that's been with my own children. I've even had it where in the county that we lived in Atlanta, my son had food allergies. He was allergic to peanut butter, and they gave him a peanut butter sandwich that ended up putting him in the hospital. And I went back and I filed a report and I did all kinds of things. And that county, from that incident, made changes countywide to the way that they deal with children with allergies. So, when you think about these things, we all have that purpose. My purpose is to speak up, whether it's happening to me or whether it's happening to someone else. That's my purpose. Um, I don't think I would be where I am. And I know it looks simple, but it's actually hard as hell to travel around with a child with a disability. It's hard to travel with crutches and walkers and wheelchairs and deal with, you know, making sure that the treatment is there and meeting, having to meet with this person or that person. God didn't give me this child because I was a little. He didn't give me this child because he knew I was so passive that I would sit back and let the world pass him by. Because there are parents that are passive and allow the world to pass their children by, especially when they have a disability, because the world will tell you that that child is worthless, that that child won't do anything, that that child won't be anybody. There are people that abort children because they have disabilities and they don't want to deal with that. And I'm not knocking anybody, because your path is your path, right? But my path was, I wasn't made aware ahead of time, because this is where I was meant to be. I was meant to be here for this child. And if I was not a lot and I was a little, I don't think I ever could have gotten to the point that I am, where we've lived in 7 to 8 countries on three different continents, traveling the world, living our best life. And it's so funny, she ended her comment before she decided to block me with, fake it until you make it. And I was like, man, she's really upset. And I said, so, what exactly does making it look like? Because for my family, I can't speak for anyone else's. For my family, I have made it. I've gotten my bachelor's degree. I've gotten my master's degree. I've retired before the age of 40. I live a free, unapologetic life. Um, my kids, my daughter's in college. She's doing amazing. And I'm just loving life. And I say this to say, not to necessarily brag, but I say this to say, where are you in your life? Because people are always out here passing judgment and people are always out here making comments. But you got to think about, where did you come from and where are you today? Because a lot of times we're not proud. We don't take time to celebrate the small accomplishments or even the big ones. There's so many things you all have done, so many people you all have reached, so many, there's these things that your parents weren't capable of accomplishing that you have accomplished, that you have done. And I don't want you to feel undermined. I don't want you to feel like what you have done has not been amazing. It doesn't matter. When you go to some of these countries, when I tell you they speak so negatively about Black American women, and they speak about them based off of what they see in the media. And, I've been told many times, you don't act like what I expected a Black American woman to act like. And I said, that's because the media is a lie. It's like, why? It's watching TV. You know, um, we're actually very intelligent, highly educated group of individuals. We're typically not loud unless you make us get loud, and don't. I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say we won't get loud, because I have been known to get loud a time or two if you come at us wrong, right? And that's not even necessarily coming at me wrong. If there's a sister here, I don't care if I don't know her. I'm gonna take up for her if I feel like she's not taking up for herself, because that's what I was put here for. That is my mission in life. So if me warning people and letting people know what is up ahead of them and telling people about the hardships that I've been through, about the shit that I've endured, a lot of people want to sit here and think that when a person gets to a certain level, that means that they haven't dealt with shit. Oh, yes, we have. Especially for Black men and women. We are especially millennials, we are the generation that came from parents that made it through the crack era. And the ones of us that are blessed, where our parents didn't get caught up in the crack era, and we are doing things that our parents only dreamed of. We were latchkey kids, which means we were left at home while our parents were still working. We were there cooking and cleaning at age 8 and 10. We were doing the damn thing. So if you feel like that black woman is too loud, or that black woman is too much, or that black woman is just doing this, that, and the other, or you feel like that black man is overbearing, or that black man, whatever, know that it's because we have struggled. We have done struggle. That saying that says, I'm glad that I don't look like what I've been through, because, baby, I've been through it. And I know a lot of people that's been through it. So, no, I'm not going to dim my light. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to stop speaking out. It's not going to happen. My baby would be dead. Let me repeat that to y'all. My child would be dead if I didn't speak out against doctors and nurses and specialists and everybody that thought they knew everything. I'm a nurse practitioner. I used to run a rehab clinic. Do you know the number of patients that came to me from the hospital that I sent back to the hospital immediately, and they had to go into emergency surgery because you sent them to me and they were not healed? They were not well. So when someone tells me, Charisma, you just create chaos, or Charisma, you're too much, or Charisma, you're a lot, baby, can I tell you, this chaos, this loudmouth speaking black woman has saved lives, not a life, has saved lives. I am the woman that was trained at Grady Memorial Hospital in Atlanta. That is where you come. If they tell you you gonna die, you're not gonna live. If you get in a car accident, fatal. If you get in a plane, you in an accident on a motorcycle, any of those things, I'm the one you came to see in the ICU. So please, please make sure that when you speak about black women, you put respect on our names. Because unlike other cultures who were given land and are still given land, and with that land, you are to build a house, you are given a husband. That is prearranged. You are given gold. I have been to countries in Dubai, they are given money from birth. We are not given shit. So let me repeat that for you. We are not given shit. Any and everything that we have worked for. In the Black American community, however you want to speak about us, whatever you want to say about us, just know that you do not understand, nor do you know our struggle. So please don't ever get it twisted. I don't care where you're from, what country you're from, what ethnicity you are, how old you are. Don't ever get it twisted and think that our life came easy. Because we are the dreams of our ancestors that were stolen from their land and put on a land they didn't know. I was reading something the other day that said, when they wouldn't give us meat, we made chitlins. When they wouldn't let us play our music, we created hymnals. When they wouldn't let us see our babies, when they would take our babies, we still went in there and we worked so that we could be involved in their lives. So when you come to a black woman or a black man, make sure you come correct, right? Because a lot of times as foreigners, you have no idea. You only know what the media tells you. You only know what the media says about black women and black men. You do not know our struggle. In no way am I sitting up in another country, living my life the way that I am, retired, doing what I want to do because I followed all of the rules. The rules were never made for me. If you look at what's going on in the United States right now, these rules were never made for us. The only way for us to get ahead was to break the rules or find a way around that rule. We have to work twice as hard to be on the same playing field. So guess what we have to do to level up that playing field? The work that we put into it. So yes, baby, I'm gonna walk around here like I'm worth $1 million or more. I'm going to walk around here and I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to say what I want to say. And when I see something wrong or I see some mistreatment, I'm going to speak on that. And if that you don't like that, you don't like that I'm loud. You don't like that I say what I want to say. You don't like that I get an attitude at times, because I definitely do. If you don't like that I have a smart mouth, if you don't like any of those things, I invite you to walk away. Because those are the things that have made me who I am and have gotten me the places that I am currently in. And there was a time where I wish my life would have been different. But today, as a 40-year-old female, I am glad I had the life that I had. I am glad I endured the struggles that I endured, because that is what made me who I am. Like I was saying when I went to this Tony Robbins, if he had not been homeless, if he had not lived in a house that he did not have food, if he did not have those struggles, he would not have been who he is. If I did not have the struggles I am, if I did not have the strong personality that I do, I wouldn't be who I am, and you wouldn't be who you are either. So instead of us thinking, damn, my life was hard, I wish it would have been better, I wish my life would have been like this person or that person. You don't know this person or that person's struggles. Just because they don't tell you don't mean that they're not there. What you do know is the outcome. We only see what's outside. There is a proverb, I believe it's a Chinese proverb or Japanese, where it says we have three faces: the one we show the world, the one we show close family and friends, and the one that no one else sees, sometimes not even you. So, I don't know. Y'all let me know if y'all have comments. Let me know what you think. For some of you all, it's early in the morning for this. You like charisma. Really? It's too early. But for me, it's almost 4 o'clock. So I done got up, had my massage, getting ready to go to my banquet. So it ain't too early for me. Um, so I just want you to take a moment today, sometime during your day, to think about your struggles that you have gone through, and to think about the person you would be if you had not dealt with those struggles, if you did not go through those hard times. Even in my travel journey, I've been in a car accident where I thought I was being abducted. Um, I've been sexually assaulted. I have been in hurricanes, not hurricanes, earthquakes, floods. Uh, I've been through it. This is not the easy journey. What would have been easy was for me to sit my behind in Atlanta. That journey was easy, but I wasn't meant for easy. I wasn't put here for easy. I was put here for extraordinary. You were put here for extraordinary in your own right. And that doesn't necessarily look like travel. We all have a different journey. That may be starting your business. That may be becoming the lead manager where you currently work. That may be volunteering, helping feed the hungry, helping the poor. I have a friend, he's a retired veteran, and he collects socks and blankets for the poor in Metro Atlanta. If you want to donate, he's on here helping hands. I'll tag him. Um, we all have a different mission. And I invite you to accept the things that have happened to you in your past life. Not your past life, sorry. Early in your life. To sit down and think about what you would be if it wasn't for those struggles, and be proud of who you are and where you are. And our timeline isn't the same. I don't have the same timeline as Pamela. Pamela doesn't have the same timeline as Little's photos. They don't have the same timeline as Wong Young. We don't all have the same timeline. We're doing things on our own timeline. So I want you to remember who you are, the struggles you have overcome, and who you will continue to be and even grow into. Because, baby, we don't stop growing until we hit the dirt. We will grow until that time comes to be called home. And don't let anybody dim your light. Don't let anybody come, especially, out here in this social media world. Social media is meant to bring negative out of us. I find it brings the negative out of me. I decided I'm not going to get on as much. But, baby, do what you need to do for you and be proud of your accomplishments, loud and proud if that's your personality, soft spoken and proud if that's your personality. But I want you to do it and keep your head held high, and don't let the haters get to you. So feel free to tell me about your experiences. You can even email me if you want to. Let me see. I gotta do my commercial, y'all. So, Holistic Breakthrough Clinic, we are doing a free stress reset 5 day class at the end of April. So, I will post the link for that because y'all, people out here stressing us the hell out. So this is you all know I do something free every other month or at least once a quarter. So please, this is what that was voted on. I put a poll on my Facebook and my Instagram, and this is what they voted on was to work on stress. So be sure to register for the 5 day stress reset. And I hope you have a wonderful morning or a wonderful afternoon, depending on where you're coming from. And I wish you all the best. Happy Friday.